Come and take a class at the Alteration.
Hello everybody and welcome to another great episode of Alter Academy, where we have another special guest back for his 4th episode and showcasing Blurple once again, the Flower Farm himself, JDRR. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Get to have you back on for our traditional Blurple altering, and excited to have you teach me about the new additions and removals for set 10.
I'm excited to start. Thank you for having me back again.
Yeah. So, first off, I want to jump in and just say 4 Monstros. I don't think we ever had 4 Monstros last set, so what's driving that change?
Emerald, Sapphire, green, blue.
Oh yeah, and that's historically been a great card versus that matchup.
Like that matchup got that matchup I think significantly improved against us compared to previous sets. Well, I also had 4 Monstros back in set 8 when it was released.
True.
Because of McDuck Manor and things like that. But yeah, last set didn't really make much sense to have 4. But with green blue back on the rise and the matchup being harder, if you ask any green blue player what's your least favorite card to see on the other side, and one of the most popular choices would be Whale, because it can just clear anything right after singing, right? Apart from like the Prince Philip, the 9-cost one. But apart from that, like everything else pretty much gets cleared off by the Whale.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then another choice here, the Sudden Scare. I have not seen that in too many lists. I also noticed you're not on the Spooky site. So can you kind of walk me through your decision-making choice there and how we landed on it? I'm going to guess Inkable related, but I won't get ahead of you too much.
Well, because right now the meta is kind of up in the air. We're not really sure, how popular things are. Like we can definitely agree after the first week that blue has been fairly heavier.
Oh yeah.
Like blue steel and green blue. I think it took up 40% of the field almost, if that. And that was day 1, right? So a lot of people might not have had access to Cindy and all the new cards, right?
Right.
The new Cinderella. So it could even be higher than that, given a couple more weeks from now. And then aggro numbers were down. And then the third highest was Purple Seal, or second highest was Purple Seal. So like Spooky Sight into 60-70% of the meta isn't the best, even though it is good into the amber, the aggro type decks that Blurple is traditionally weaker to, right?
Right.
But that would slot into the Elsa 8 slot, the Spooky Sight, if we were to play it. It is a good card into aggro, like I talked about, but it also has quite a significant downside in Blurple specifically, because if it's in your hand, it's just stuck in your hand if it's the wrong matchup, and you don't really want to open Tipo to just ink it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
oftentimes it's just stuck in your hand forever, and it's not really what you want into all those other matchups we talked about earlier. So it's kind of tricky of a card, depending how far you want to lean into aggro or anti-aggro. But that's also why I have 8 1-drops in the list right now, because there's another new addition into the card pool, Webby, Shift Ward one. Yeah, that one's quite a problem for us too, because if you don't have things that can fight in the early game, that can just snowball the game, right? Because you ramp, but then they also ramp, so that kind of mitigates our advantage. So having the 1-drops to help fight in the early game also don't just help against aggro. It actually helps into a lot of decks right now, I found. And the other thing is that the 1-drops right now help us lower our hand size really quickly. So being able to lower our hand size to not give up too much Clarabelle value, for one, we're able to go wide with the other purple decks. So I think one of the biggest changes as well that I didn't touch on with Blurple is that set 9 and set 8 and 7 to a degree, the last 3 sets, is played a lot more like a blue deck, right? Where you just curve out, ramp to big things and just keep playing big things every turn.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with this set, the other blue decks like blue steel and green blue, they are the bigger, I would say, bigger blue deck, because they have better top end ward wipes and such. So you can't really out blue their top end because your top end is weaker. So I took the deck into a more like tempo based approach. So we're playing more like a purple deck again, as opposed to a blue deck.
Right.
So that's why that's the spooky site thing. Why there's no spooky site.
Yeah.
The reason why Sudden Scare is there is because we have no way to stop the Prince Philip combo in this deck, right? Like if they sing, like at Night Ink, they sing Malicious, Mean, and Scary, and then they drop Prince Philip, and then they just wipe the whole board, right?
Right.
Can't do anything about it. You're not like a steel deck that can play Pete. We don't go fast enough to beat them before that happens. So I found that the main reason I was losing to them is because not because of the board wipe, but Philip is a 6/6 evasive that quests for 3.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of our favorite red card, Sisu, that also board wipes and quests for 3. And it was really hard to deal with, right? So I just needed more ways to get rid of it. And Sudden Scare is just like another Hades. And against the other blue decks, like green, blue, and blue, steel, once they're at like 9-10 ink, if you ramp them twice and give them 2 ink, it doesn't matter because they don't draw cards anyway.
Yeah.
Like they're still top decking playing one thing a turn, right? And that's something that Blurple is good in the top deck battle because you can play Sudden Scare plus Dumbo, Scare plus Genie, Scare plus Iago, Scare plus Book, Scare plus Hades, right?
Oh yeah.
So you're able to like refill your hand really easily and just keep playing to the board because what Blurple can still do better than the other 2 blue decks is you grind into like, you just grind better, right? You just draw a lot of cards.
Yeah.
So leaning more into that, you just have to, so then you just remove the Philip, keep drawing cards, and then you can just keep going wide and keep refilling the board like all the purple decks are right now. Kind of like how purple steel is very relentless in the way that like, you know, it draws cards, keep refilling the board just every turn. Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to get Blurple to try and get closer to doing, is doing like a very similar thing. Because once the Philip is gone, it's not that big of a deal. Like it's a lot more manageable once you get rid of it. And that's also why Elsa is there, because they usually sing Malicious, Mean, and Scary with Night Ink and then play Philip, right? So if you play like Elsa and lock down their singers on turn 8 before they can do that, then that's like another way you can stop them from doing the board wipe, and then they can't actually do it till 12 ink where they hard cast the Malicious, Mean, and Scary and Philip.
Yeah.
So that's why Elsa's in the deck right now. And Hades is there. Originally I had Tamatoa and the guidebook because it's just like kind of like Popsicle and Tamatoa again. But like it's really, really slow. I found it to be way too slow. Like if you got to the late game, like great. Like you got to be at like 10 ink, I think, around that point where like Tamatoa guidebook really comes online. But like it was just like way too slow, and I found that games were already over by that point.
Yeah.
So like Hades, like this is kind of a controversial card, right? When it was released, a lot of people were like, and I was skeptical of this card too. A lot of people were like, well, you have to choose. Like your opponent is going to choose the worst of the 2 options most of the time, right? And that was my skepticism too. I was just like, well, it's not the best body. It's like a 3/4 that quests for 1 on a 5-cost body. But then like as I played more, is like 95% of the time your opponent's letting you draw 2 anyway.
Yep. So
right?
At that point,
and I'm like, that's
like,
basically Tamatoa.
Yeah, it's basically Tamatoa, and it's basically like the Finder's Keeper slot. I don't think I'd ever consider playing Finder's Keepers over Hades ever again at this point.
Basically, it's just Finder's Keepers on a body.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like after that, it's like, okay, whatever. Like it's a 3/4 body. Like you're just in a quest with it. It drew 2 cards. And the odd time your opponent will have to take the banish because the giving you draw 2 is a worse choice than that, right?
Yeah, and then that's
so like
still okay.
In this deck specifically, it's like not that much of a downside because whether they choose to remove a character or let you draw 2, it's usually something you're fine with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. I think that does pretty much all my questions. Would you like to get into some alters now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's start as we always start here at Alter Academy with Blind on the Play.
Okay, well, we don't have ramps, so we're just setting 7 here.
The classic.
Some of them, the altars still don't change sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, we can play.
We can
Like
play.
ideally, I would have a 1-drop here, whether
Yeah.
it's like a Rafiki or a Basil. But like we can still ramp into Dumbo and then figure it out from there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Of
there's
course.
something I also forgot to mention earlier. So there's only like 10 uninkables in the deck, and
Yeah.
the Elsa could be like Demona. So
interesting, yeah.
what I found with Blurple this set as well is that you do have to mulligan quite aggressively because the other decks are doing such unfair things and strong things that you have to find the cards or have to find your outs to what they're doing, right?
Right.
So I found that playing like a lower uninkable count in Blurple for this set is more helpful because you can just mulligan hard for what you need.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah. So when we do the rest of them, you'll see.
Yeah. So let's move into blind on the draw now.
Okay. If we're blind on draw, I would be inclined to actually keep one of the 1-drops and then send 6, just because you also get an extra card in the altar, so you're more likely to, or you're still like fairly likely to hit ramp. Because on the draw, especially on the draw, if you don't hit a 1-drop, I found in the meta right now in set 10, it is really difficult to actually win the game and come from behind.
Yeah.
So I would probably be a little bit greedier here and just hold the Rafiki, because like previous sets we just like, yeah, just send 7.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the early game is a little bit too important right now. And yes, you might miss ramp, but the percentage is not that big between the 6 and the 7 here, because I found that having the 1-drop just more important. So
Perfect. All right, and let's see what we get, and much better.
yeah, we didn't get punished for it.
Yeah. We got the ramp.
Yep. We got it.
All right. Let's go into Amethyst Steel on the play.
On the play, this is a send 7 on the play.
We're not hitting ramp.
Yeah, I need to
start.
find ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to find ramp against them.
And we do.
And this is like really good because we can go Rafiki into Tipo and then play into a Dumbo and then take it from there.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to just see Rafiki against Amethyst Steel is just so good. Or just any 1-drop in general, right? It really slows down the early game aggression.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's do Amethyst Steel on the draw now. Wait, one day we'll get ramp with the starting.
I wonder what this would be.
Yeah.
I think everyone watching can figure that one
Yeah.
out.
Well,
I forgot Hades. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and center 7, but now our hand's pretty good.
It's still fine. We don't have a 4-drop.
Yeah.
Hopefully by turn 3 we can draw into one, but we still have a turn 1 and 2 play with the ramp. All right, we'll probably just go Rafiki, and then we're probably going to Tipo away the uninkable Elsa, and then hopefully we draw something from there.
Yeah. All right, let's go into Sapphire Steel on the play. I'm actually a big fan of this deck. It kind of reminds me of like almost like set 1 Ruby Amethyst in a way, just because it just goes kind of slow and then just sends out something that just destroys like one big thing a turn, basically, that's like challenging for the board. So this has been a fun deck to play so far.
Yeah, Sapphire Steel is definitely like a really strong deck right now. Potentially one of the best decks. Some people would argue it is the best deck of the format.
Some people have been arguing it's been
see.
the best deck for the last like 8 sets.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that deck is quite challenging for us on the draw. Specifically on the play, I think is fine, but on the draw it can get fairly challenging. But here, like, this hand is fairly good, but because uninkables are low, I'm going to be a bit greedier. I'm probably going to send like Monstro and Dumbo back. Previous sets, I would just keep everything because I have guaranteed ink.
Yeah.
But I really want to open Elsa.
Yeah.
And if I don't, at least I can Hades follow up the Genie.
Yeah. And Genie's been very strong against Sapphire Steel, especially early.
Anything with 4 health and evasive.
Yeah.
That quest for 2.
Yeah. All right. And let's see how
Like,
we do.
yeah. Okay. Like, this is fine, right? We still have, you probably ink Monstro. You'll sail into a Basil, you go into your Genie, go into Hades, which is fairly good because if they like Hades on turn 4, on their Cinderella, most likely, they're probably not gonna let you banish it. So you just get a free draw 2.
Yep.
Yep. And
we
then
love
if
that.
when the turn passes back to them, they'll probably Thunderbolt the Genie, which Hades has a free trade on it anyway. So
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Mm-hmm.
And let's go to Sapphire Steel on the draw then.
On the draw, I would send Hades back here, the book, and probably the 2 bells. Yep.
All right.
The reason for that is because you can hit mulligan. Yeah. So the reason for that's really good. We have open Basil too. So the reason why I kept Genie and Iago is because this set, I didn't touch on it earlier, but there is very few actions that actually target Iago. You know how previously in set 9 there's like Hypnotic Strength, Improvise, all the stuff to take out Iago, right? But there's just too many good cards right now, so a lot of people have cut action removal. So Iago usually almost always lives, except for into the steel decks. So going into Sapphire Steel on the draw, if I play Genie on 3, in response to their Cinderella, they're most likely gonna Thunderbolt the Genie. And all the strengths that they play usually are inked early, right? Because like they're strengthening for like 1, maybe 2 at best, right?
Yeah.
So you eat the Thunderbolt, then you play Iago, and then it starts giving Sapphire Steel a bit of trouble, because if they don't have another Thunderbolt or a strength, Iago can just kind of ruin their day, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, like, on the draw, I like to lead with Genie or a Dumbo first, just eat removal into steel decks, and then play Iago.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of like similarly how I played against Amethyst Steel as an Amber Steel player, where I'd like not play my Tiana right away to bait out the first strength, and then hoping to get the Tiana survive. So that plays very very similar to what I've been used to, just on different color combos, but basically just placing the same style of play. And speaking of Amber
because like
Steel,
Sapphire Steel, they don't. Sorry, go ahead.
and speaking of Amber Steel, let's go on to an Amber Steel on the play.
Sounds good. Amber Steel on the play, I'm probably just keeping this full hand because there's not much more that I really want. Maybe a second 1-drop.
Yeah.
So like you could send the book back, but like you're just inking the book against Amber Steel. Like the draw cards that are slower are usually inked into aggro, right? Because you really don't have time to play those.
Yeah.
So it's like, why do I want to draw into it later when I just ink it now and then play Rafiki turn 1? Go into Genie, into an Elsa, into a Belle or Dumbo, depending on what they do. Not much change there.
Yeah, I think the other thing you could be after is an Into the Unknown, but ideally you just draw that on turn 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could send, like, Dumbo and the book back to find Into the Unknown, but I wouldn't really send anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It depends how hard you want to go for it, right?
Yeah, and we are on the play, so I think you're safe to chill here.
On the play, I'm a little less concerned about it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and see what we don't get, because we're just going to go straight into Amber Steel on the draw.
On the draw, we got to be incredibly greedy, because if we don't hit what we need, they're going to beat you anyway. So we're keeping Into the Unknown and sending 6.
Yep. That's exactly what I would have done as well. And let's... All right. Pretty good.
Not bad. Same thing as like Sapphire Steel, right? You bait out the removal on your Dumbos, and then you drop Iagos after. Because if the Iago sticks, your chances of winning like improve dramatically on the draw against any steel deck.
Agreed. Yeah, I think the only thing
you just need it to live 1 turn, right?
Yeah.
The Iago. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's go into Emerald Sapphire on the draw.
On the play or on the draw?
On the draw. We're gonna switch to on the draw for the last couple.
Oh, we're gonna switch it up first. All right, all right. I am going to send Monstro Hades into Unknown and Elsa back. Looking for a 4-drop or another ramp card.
All right.
No. Unfortunately, I don't have a second ramp card, but the goal here would just be to try and lower our hand as quickly as possible. And then just kind of get the book out onto the board, because the book we can always cash the book in later to draw 2. So I found it's like fairly easy to just lower your hand to not give too much Clarabelle value and then just draw on your turn with the book when you need it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just kind of leave it there to cash in later. This is fine. Ideally, I would have a Tipo here in this hand too, so I can ramp twice to keep up with them.
Yeah.
But that's what I would be looking for on the draw, is to be able to ramp twice and 1-drops just so I can lower my hand.
Got it. I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
How often have you had your Woodchuck guidebook get destroyed by a little Clarabelle?
It's happened before, but if they spend like in the mid game, if they spend like 3 ink and they play like a little Clarabelle, destroy the guidebook and pass, I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's probably why
right?
you're
If they're not using it to ink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they're not going to use the little Clarabelle for ink in the mid game to get to like 8-9 ink, then like I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
I have more draw cards in the deck to keep going anyway.
Yeah. All right, and for the last one of the day, let's do an Emerald Amber Dogs deck on the draw.
So very similarly to Amber Steel, you just got to be greedy here. I'm keeping the Rafiki, and then I'm sending 6 back, because Rafiki's the better 1-drop into dogs.
All right, easy enough, and we get ramp, but no 4-drop. But we got a couple turns to get it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously less than ideal. We don't have a 4-drop. Like we're looking for a 4-drop into an Elsa, right? As ideally Iago into Elsa.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's enough to clear the tramp, right?
Right.
And since they don't play the actions anymore, Iago's probably living.
Oh yeah.
To do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, before we get out of here, are there any shout outs you want to say? And before you do, I just want to give you and the whole Flourish Farm a shout out because of just how dominant you guys were at Milwaukee with, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was 4. You had 4 in top 32?
5.
5. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys want to
Yeah.
learn and just get better at the game, go check JDRR and the Flower Farm out, because he's got living proof of people just having extreme successes with this, and it's just incredible to watch that success happen in real time, and having you on here is always a treat, so much appreciated.
Thank you. I mean, it was a crazy run. I think we had 24 people make day 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9 people made top 64, and then 5 in top 32.
Yeah.
So it was a really good run for all of them.
Yeah. Unreal run, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to yourself for always inviting me and having me back every set. Shout out to our friends over at SLTC.
Oh yeah.
For always innovating and staying ahead of the meta. And shout out to Flower Farm as well for, doing what they do and being who they are, because without them, I wouldn't be able to be here to do all these things for you and for everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah, and Lorcana wouldn't be the same without that. So you bring such a
Sure.
good source of free guides and materials, and your guides are just very, very well written. Formatting is immaculate. If you haven't read it, pop on over there and check it out.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. This has been Alter Academy. Tune in next week for another special episode. Until then, have a good one. Bye now.
Bye.